Just Baseball show. Naturally, we're going to talk about the 2-year, $98 million deal that LeBron James just signed with the LA Lakers off the top. That's crazy, but we're headline hunting right now. Michael Harris with his extension. The Rangers made a move at the top. It's the second marquee executive fired in the last couple of weeks. And we're going to bounce around with some injury things too. But Peter, you seem disgruntled.
So speaking about basketball, I feel like this is a good segue, even though this is the Just Baseball show, Thursday, August 18th. Welcome to it. Stephen A. Smith is a personality on ESPN. He's good at talking about basketball. Maybe can give you a football take from time to time. I know the Yankees aren't very good. They're my favorite team. I know they're not very good right now. But when I turn on ESPN and I have to hear him yell at me at the top of his lungs about how much our team is terrible, and then talk about how the Mets are better, which they are, and then blame, the Garrett Cole stuff, everything. But then the worst part about it is when he's yelling about Hal and Hank Steinbrenner, about the owners, right? Hank passed away. So that really got under my skin. It really got under my skin. It's just ESPN doesn't really cover baseball that much. But then when they do, it's just Stephen A. yelling about the Yankees and him just like getting that wrong really got under my skin. Really got under my skin.
So to that, I say, stop watching.
I didn't even really want to. I turned it on. I never turn it on. I had a little bit of time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn on First Take. Maybe they're talking about baseball. And then it's just
so you should never go into First Take thinking that they're talking about baseball. Never in a million years.
Thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. I was almost trying to see if they were. And all that it is just a 10-minute rant on how terrible the Yankees are with no real analysis, just yelling. And then him talking about Hal and Hank, that they have to do something. And Hank, unfortunately, has passed away. So got under my skin. But let's talk about something more fun, because that wasn't.
We can talk about something more fun. Here's what I will say. Stephen A. Smith is incredibly good at what he does.
Yes.
Stephen A. is somehow entertaining for 5 days a week for 3 hours every morning. Yes. That's so unbelievably hard to do. Is he paid appropriately for what he does? No. Baseball players are not paid appropriately for what they do. It's ridiculous. Like elementary school teachers are making $30,000 a year. Stephen A. Smith is making about $11 million a year. Their impact is very different. Now, I understand where you're coming from, but remember, it is nearly impossible to be informed about everything at all times.
I understand.
Should Stephen A. be way more informed? Absolutely. But is Stephen A. incredibly good at what he does? He's not looking to make correct or sound arguments. He's not. He's looking to be loud and rile people up. And obviously, he riled you up.
I get it. This is also the same Stephen A. that said Shohei Ohtani can't be the face of baseball because he uses a translator. This is the same Stephen A. who I'm not expecting him to break down the Braves rotation going into the playoffs, but he's a Yankee fan and he doesn't know that the owner has passed away. It's just, and that's the only baseball content you're going to get. You'll get 30 minutes of baseball tonight before the Sunday night baseball game.
Yeah.
It's depressing, but that's why we do the Just Baseball show. That's kind of why we created this whole thing, because we didn't feel that there was adequate coverage. And we're trying to do that. And you know what? We've boofed before. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We even forgot that Miles Michaelis.
Speak for yourself. I'm perfect.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not perfect. But, we've made mistakes before. We were talking about the Cardinals rotation. I remember a big boof we saw in the comments. It was like, did you forget about Miles Michaelis? And I was like, damn it. Yes, we did. Fuck. We forgot about Miles Michaelis when we were just talking about it. We make boofs like that. It's understandable. But when you have 10 minutes a week on it, it's your favorite team. Or favorite in quotes. Let's move on.
Yes. And I recommend to you to move on from going to Stephen A. Smith and letting anything he says baseball-wise get under your skin, because he is really just there for entertainment purposes. He is not there to inform the public on the Yankees' struggles.
That stinks, right?
Whatever.
I mean, that's
whatever. That's life. That's what we have to accept. Like sometimes things aren't going to break your way, and you have to be okay with that. So I need you to get over that. Put your big boy pants on and talk about Clay Holmes's back spasms for me.
Yeah, he just lied to the media. I mean, you
don't think he's got back spasms going on? You think he just sucks and he's going on the IL?
Yeah, I think it's a scheduled IL stint appearance. I mean, it's fine. I don't blame him. Like it's not something where, I think he's bad for doing so, but I think, when he's explaining what's happening to his back and he's like, oh yeah, kind of locked up. It's clear that nothing really is the matter, but he just needs some time to get his head right. And I think that's totally fine. I'm not against him, but it was clear. I mean, it was one of the biggest lies of the season. It was the biggest lie since Garrett Cole when Ken Davidoff of the New York Post said,
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Wasn't the question like, have you used Spider Tack before? Like, yes or no? I'm not quite sure what to say.
I'm not. And I think his ERA since then is about 4. I don't know. It's a tough time to be a Yankee fan, but
no, it's not. It's a tough time in a vacuum right now over the last 30 days, like since the All-Star break. Yeah, it's a tough time. Yeah, I mean, they are what? They've lost 11 of 13. Is that right?
Yeah. They're like 11-21 or something since in their last 30 whatever games, whatever you do the math. I don't know.
11-21 is 32 games at last check. So 11-21 over their last 32. Yeah, I mean, the White Sox and Orioles were the best teams in the American League over the last 30. They were 19-11.
The White Sox, dude.
The White Sox, yeah. But we're not talking about the White Sox just yet. We're talking about the Yankees. How do they salvage this? Because obviously they should still be viewed as legitimate World Series contenders. Like, do you just ride out this downtick? Because there is still 6 weeks left in the regular season. Like, there is time for the Yankees ship to get right.
There are 45 games left. And what did I say at the beginning of the season, Jack, when I was talking about the Yankees?
Yeah, you said we're going to have to deal with the bad. We're enjoying the good. The bad's going to come. We got to deal with the bad. You got to survive the bad.
Exactly. And it's lasted a little bit longer than I thought, but we knew that this was going to happen. If you're a baseball fan, you know that through 162 games, you're going to have series, you're going to have stretches where you look like the greatest team of all time. And then you're also going to have stretches where you look like the worst team of all time. That's what the Yankees are. They can be a little bit polarizing. When nobody's hitting in the lineup, it's just, DJ's been hurt. Stanton's been hurt. Rizzo has not been the same guy. The bottom half of their lineup outside of Jose Trevino has just not been there. Aaron Hicks is a shell of himself. Miguel Andujar hits 5th. This doesn't look like the same team. And when Judge isn't hitting, the offense is non-existent. And when Garrett Cole doesn't give you a phenomenal start, followed by a phenomenal start from Nestor Cortez Jr. when he gave up a home run to Randy Arozarena, I'm not expecting him to be perfect either. Chapman's looking better. This team just called up Oswaldo Cabrera, who's one of their best prospects in the minor leagues. Yes. Estevan Florial, who's going to play center field. I think he's going to be better than Aaron Hicks. The Yankees have been very reluctant to call up some of these guys. I even told us in the group chat yesterday. I said there's 3 shortstops in the minor leagues that the Yankees have that are currently better than what they're getting from Marwin Gonzalez, at least. I mean, you could say IKF with the bat and ball, and you could talk to his batting average, but that's all he's got. He hasn't.
He's slugging 312 since the All-Star break.
Exactly. I mean, it's not an ideal situation there for the New York Yankees, but this is a lull. And do I still believe, like, for example, I kind of want to throw this at you because Ryan and I did our World Series tiers. We had the Dodgers, Astros, and Mets in tier 1. We had the Yankees and the Braves in tier 2. I still put the Yankees there. And then in tier 3, might be a little bit surprising. I don't know if you've heard yet. Blue Jays. If we're talking October baseball.
Yeah.
Mariners and Padres. With the Phillies and the Cardinals on the outside looking in. That's who we thought. But I guess, I'm really in the situation of watching the Yankees constantly and going through the ebbs and flows as an emotional fan. Yeah. Do you think the Yankees still should be in that tier? I do.
Yes. They're not a tier 3 team. I think St. Louis is a tier 3 team. I think you should put St. Louis in tier 3.
I put them in tier 3, and Ryan was the guy who said, I don't think so.
You know what? He's never allowed back on.
I do like our guy.
You know what? if Ryan disagrees with anything that any of the three of us say, that he is not invited back. That's how that works with any guest.
I agree.
If we butt heads whatsoever, you are nothing to us.
I agree. If Colby thinks the Red Sox have a shot, banned. Javi,
banned.
With Tatis getting suspended for 88 games, banned. I mean, you have to have a seamless record. You have to be spotless.
If we get Bob Costas on again and he says something that I slightly disagree with,
banned.
See you, Bob. Not coming back.
Ever. Not coming back. Ever.
See you, man. I mean, it has just been the Judge since the All-Star break. Aaron Judge has a 1355 OPS in 24 games since the All-Star break. Aside from 10 games of Higgy, there's nothing here. Higashioka, by the way, 950 OPS since the All-Star break. But then you've got Aaron Hicks, who's, hitting 160 in 23 games since the All-Star break. And you've got, Gleyber Torres hitting a $184. You've got Anthony Rizzo hitting 191. Granted, Rizzo has shown a little bit of pop here and there, but I mean, Benny's got a 650 OPS since you grabbed him from the Yanks.
What did I say?
I'm not ready to say that Benny's mid. I'm not. What I will say is you need more than Judge to survive this. Do I think that Marinaccio is going to be good in place of Clay Holmes? Yes. Do I think he's the closer of the Yankees right now? Hell no. Is it going to be Chapman or is it going to be Efros?
I think they're going to continue to try Chapman. I mean, he's the guy. He's the most expensive guy in the bullpen. It makes sense
with Efros, man.
You asked what I think they'll do, not my opinion. I want Sammy Sidearm in there.
Yeah.
Scotty Sidearm.
Not Sammy.
Not Sammy. Sammy kind of seemed like a better name, but it is Scotty Sidearm. I love
Sammy
Scott
Sprinkler
Efros.
from Benchwarmers. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Scott Efros. I mean, he's one of the best relievers in the Yankees pen. He's been one of the best relievers in baseball this year. I mean, when he was on the Cubs too. I mean, I thought that was a great trade for Hayden Wesneski. The Yankees are built for October, but the reason why they're definitely not tier one, and I almost was talking with Ryan of why they might be tier three. I mean, in game one, it's Garrett Cole on the bump, but there's some other aces that can match up really well with him. Like if the Yankees play the Blue Jays, Manoah can deal with him.
Yep.
You go to, let's say they play the Guardians. Bieber can deal with him. Play the Mariners. Castillo can certainly deal with him.
Correct.
Verlander, duh. I think we beat the Twins in Sonny Gray.
Yes, I think so too.
Shane McClanahan, the Rays.
Shane's not throwing well over his last couple of starts.
Yeah, that's true.
So close to a toss-up.
I don't know.
I mean, the Yankees, it really feels like they have the division on lock. Tampa's 9 back. Like Tampa's not catching them. Tampa's won 4 in a row. The Yankees have lost 3 in a row, but Tampa is not catching them. Toronto's not catching them because Toronto in their own right has dropped 8 of their last 10. Yeah. That's brutal. 3 longest winning streaks in Major League Baseball right now are the Braves at 8, and then the Giants at 5. The White Sox are also at 5. We're going to talk about 2 of those 3 teams. I don't think we need to touch on the Giants because, it's cool what they're doing. A couple of walk-off homers, great. But the Giants are the Giants right now. They're not competing for much at all.
They're also beating up on the Diamondbacks.
The Pirates. Yeah, they're walking off the Pirates and the D-backs. What Chicago has done, taking the front 2 of 4 against Houston with Kopech and Framber dueling tonight. We're recording right before that game. Taking that Cease Verlander game was massive. Yeah. Johnny Cueto issued a big win on Monday, but on Tuesday, that was the kahuna that could have turned the tide on the White Sox season. And here I am sitting here late night watching the end of that game and watching Hendricks close it out. And I'm like, oh my God, am I all the way bought back in on this team?
Talk to me.
It's so hard because this is the burden of baseball, right? The burden of baseball is it's 162 games.
Sport sucks.
Yeah, I mean, the sport is ass, dude. Like football is so easy because it's 4 months. You play once a week.
Fuck it.
You get a bye week. You literally get to take a break 1 week. You get 2 weeks of not stressing. Should we do football instead of baseball? I'm just spewing the negatives about this damn sport. But the thing about baseball is it's every single day for 6 months. And for a lot of teams that have World Series aspirations, it is overwhelmingly positive. But that team still will lose 60 to 70 times that season. With the White Sox being as mediocre as they have been for the entirety of the season with the expectations that White Sox fans have set for this team, it was a really, really hard couple of months to get through at the beginning, because it's like, okay, when are we going to turn it on? When are we going to become that buzzsaw? And they never turned it on and became the buzzsaw. But it's a series like this. And the White Sox, even last year, they were really good, but they struggled against good teams. You can look at the AL Central and look at the record against the AL Central and take as much from that as you want. But the AL Central is the weakest division in baseball. It's not close. It's a bad division.
I would say the NL Central. I mean, the Cubs, Pirates, and Reds, especially with what the Reds sold at the deadline. But I see what your point. It's those two divisions, and I'm not scared of the Twins, and I'm not really scared of the Guardians either. So I kind of interrupted you, but I totally get what you're saying.
No, I mean, like so if it's not the worst, it's one of the worst divisions in baseball. It's not that impressive if you beat up on the bad teams. What's really impressive and what shows your postseason might is how you do against good teams, how you do against teams above 500. And the White Sox over the last couple of years have not been that good against teams above 500. So it's always, yay, we took 3 of 4 from Detroit. That's awesome. But how's Houston going to go? How are the Yankees going to go? Taking the front 2 against Houston was that jab in the ass that I think White Sox fans needed. And it was great. And are there still issues that a fan is telling Tony La Russa to pinch run Adam Engel for Eloy Jimenez? Yes, there are glaring issues. There are glaring flaws. But allow White Sox fans to enjoy what Dylan Cease, Gavin Sheets, and Liam Hendricks gave them last night, what Johnny Cueto gave them on Monday, and what, fingers crossed, Michael Kopech can give them on Wednesday. Because this is exactly what the White Sox needed to have that fire lit under them. It stinks that Tim Anderson's not on the field for this.
Yep.
Because TA being on the field would be a whole different energy. And now I'm seeing rumors that the White Sox may want to sign Elvis Andrus for the rest of the year with TA out.
Yeah, that's what Heyman came out with. Is that real? That almost seemed like Heyman is just like, well, maybe.
I mean, is it Elvis Andrus or Leori Garcia? Who would you rather have at short?
I mean, Elvis Andrus is an actual shortstop, so I guess him.
Yeah. I'd rather have Elvis Andrus than Leori Garcia.
I would too. But okay, so your projection about how the AL Central is going to end up, because the Guardians look like a potential playoff team. The Twins are busy beating up on the Royals, but the Royals had this enormous homestand, and they're a very young team with their first, trip on the road. And I expected them not to perform very well. But that doesn't give me any more confidence in the Twins moving forward. Again, with the Guardians, they're having a series against Detroit and not playing all that well. Austin Hedges, though, to the Guardians' credit, there was a ton of horrible calls, especially in that Tuesday game. Even the stuff at the end, I mean, it wasn't completely, because that was probably a swing, but we don't have to get all the way into that. But they've dealt with a lot of shit in that Detroit series.
Yeah.
But they've been losing. They are not a perfect squad. Neither are the White Sox, but they're all razor thin. I still, it's funny. I'm still holding on to this minus 200 White Sox ticket to win the division. Remember I said at the beginning of the year that I said, sometimes
it was you just biggest lock ever. Yeah.
Biggest lock ever. And I'm not, I thought I was going to have to shred it, but maybe it could hit. Like, I guess if I gave you the ticket, are you confident in it?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Knowing what Cleveland runs out of that starting rotation, I'm not confident at all. What I will say, and this is a total deviation from what I was thinking over the last however many months, is the AL Central could put 2 teams in the postseason. I do believe that. So the 3 teams that are in right now, because look at the division, that's one conversation. Look at the wild card, that's the other conversation. The 3 teams holding on to the wild card spots in the American League as it stands right now: Seattle, who's a game and a half clear; Tampa, who's a game clear; and then Toronto. Baltimore and Minnesota trail by half a game. The White Sox trail by a game. I don't like the vibes in Toronto right now at all. I mean, I could see Toronto going on this bad stretch. And I could also see Minnesota going on a bad stretch. I have no idea what kind of depth Baltimore has to get them through the end of September. I wouldn't be shocked if the White Sox and Guardians kept on climbing while the Twins fall, and they beat up on the bad teams remaining on their schedule. And we're looking at this division as neck and neck for the division. Whoever wins it, wins it. And the one that doesn't, between the White Sox and Guardians, sneaks into that final wild card spot.
Here's my thing about lulls. When I'm talking about the Yankees, they're at the lowest of the low. The Blue Jays are at the same spot, lowest of the low.
So and it's only going to go up.
I think it's only going to go up. This team is too talented, Jack. I mean, it's too talented. The bullpen, I know Jordan Romano has these crazy struggles. He's got like a ERA over 4 inside the United States, but in Canada, he's got an ERA like 0.5. I know there's the struggles there, but overall, Jordan Romano, you can rely on him in the closer role. And you go through the bullpen. I know Mays has been hurt, but there's a lot of good arms back there. And you combine that with an electric offense, just electric. And even Matt Chapman has been much better overall this season. He's been heating up. Certainly, Lourdes Gurriel's second half has been awesome. Vladdy, I think, just lost his hit streak, but I know he had a home run yesterday. I'm not sure if he's still on the hit streak, but I know it's at 21, 22 games. The last Blue Jays game I was watching. The Blue Jays still have such an electric team that when they're at the lowest of low and still in the playoff hunt, I only think up is where they'll be headed. The Rays, I still think they're playing math. It's not something that we know what they're doing. They just got Harold Ramirez back. They're going to get Manny Margot back. They're going to get Wander Franco back. I think Aram talked about it too. The entire bullpen unit has been basically diminished due to injury. They're all out, but some of them are going to come back. I mean, the Rays team is too good. And I think the Mariners are probably the best team out of the 3. I kind of think the way it is right now is what it will finish like in October.
So Cleveland winning the AL Central and the 3 wildcard teams being Seattle, Tampa, and Toronto.
I do think it's going to be Seattle, Tampa, and Toronto, but I'm not confident that the Guardians win the division. That's the thing. Yeah. I think it's going to be either the White Sox, the Twins, or the Guardians. I would say that the Twins have the least likely shot, in my opinion. Yeah. And now saying that, let's crown the Twins the AL Central champions.
Right. That's honestly, that's how I'm feeling too. If I had to cross off one team that could win the American League Central, it's the Twins. And the Twins are going to win. The Twins are going to be the only AL Central team in the postseason.
Congratulations. And they just probably won the World Series too. They killed it.
Congratulations to Tyler Mahle. I crowned him my favorite to get out of the American League last year, and they were the worst team ever. And here we are saying that they're down in the count, so they're going to rattle off 20 in a row like the Cardinals did last year.
But you'll never have a worse take than our guy Colby saying that Kenta Maeda might be better than Max Scherzer.
Kenta Maeda might be better than Max Scherzer. Do you remember Colby's first appearance on the Just Baseball show when he came on and the premise of why he came on was to talk about the greatness of Shohei Ohtani? And the first thing he said was, yeah, he's throwing this cutter that's getting hit really hard. You should scrap the cutter. I'm like, do you hate Christmas? Like, are you Ebenezer Scrooge? Like, what Colby, a joke.
It's funny, though. The only reason I'm making fun of Colby for that is because Colby does know his pitching. And he's been very good with that kind of stuff. So I'm always going to hold that take over his head as the worst take I've ever heard. But he's been very solid otherwise. But he also said that Yordan Alvarez is better than David Ortiz, which I called it blasphemous. Talking about Stephen A. Smith, blasphemous.
I mean...
Yordan is pretty good.
He's on that trajectory.
He is on that trajectory.
Let's talk Rangers. President of Baseball Operations, Jon Daniels, out. It is Chris Young's show. He was just handed the keys to a Toyota Camry.
I keep hearing this. What is that? His show, the Texas Rangers, his show. I know it's his job now, but like the show, the 3rd place, 4th place Rangers, the show. I don't know.
Okay. Look at the Rangers. Look at the Rangers farm. Look at the young talent that the Rangers have up right now. Chris Young.
Convince me it's a show.
Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker, Cole Winn, John Gray, whoever else. And then you've got the $500 million middle infield with Ezekiel Duran, Josh Young. Could keep going. Huff, Heim popped out of nowhere. Adolis Garcia.
Awesome this year. Nathaniel Lowe. Dude, rocks baseball. He's hitting like 280 with 25 bombs. You could go through the advanced stats, but that's plenty for you.
My thing is Chris Young has shown the ability to draft effectively, and the Rangers ownership has shown the willingness to spend money.
Yes.
I think a smart mind, you give him blank checks, he will turn this thing around quickly.
I hope so. I look at the pitching staff when you just named all of those pitchers. It's assuming all of them work out.
Yes, it is.
I think that's going a little bit too far. Like Jack Leiter, as much as he is hyped up as a prospect, he has not had a very good start to his minor league career. Not that he is not a bad pitcher and that I'm not writing him off. Certainly not writing him off. He could come back and just continue to dominate, and I expect him to do so, but it's not like he's had a great start. Kumar Rocker at number 3. A lot of people were surprised by that, and a lot of people were surprised for good reason. He was not projected as the number 1 pitcher in the draft. Could he end up being that type of pitcher? Of course he could. You see him at Vandy, chucking 98 with the breaking ball? Electric. Saw him in person. I mean, just commands the mound like few I've seen in college. But nothing is perfect. There have been a lot of guys who we've seen like that. So I think it's all assuming that these guys all work out, which I think is a little much. They just don't have the pitching. They really don't have the pitching. And I think it's going to be spending more money on free agents rather than relying on all these young arms.
So Chris Young, smart guy, former pitcher. I trust a former pitcher to make informed pitching decisions, especially on what?
Tall.
Chris Young, tall, 6'10". Chris Young, tall guy.
I mean, can see over the competition.
He looks down on people.
I get it.
He's got a superiority complex going on, Chris Young.
He comes into your GM's office like all hunky like that. You might have to
whatever you need.
Trade. Exactly.
Do you want Volpe and Dominguez for Dane Dunning?
I mean, he'll be
so
like,
much taller than I am.
Cashman, I'm going to shove you in a locker, you little nerd.
Yes.
I get it.
That's the essence.
Maybe I'm buying in now. I'm buying in.
We can talk about sabermetrics all we want. The essence of baseball is bullying, and that's how the trade deadline works.
Yeah.
AJ Preller is the best bully in baseball, and he says, I'm going to expose you to the world if you don't give me Juan Soto right now. Mike, by the way, stupid name.
Yes. Mike. But yeah, I mean, is it a good move that they got rid of Daniels? Probably. I mean, I just think it's funny that Jon Daniels and Chris Young had this press conference about getting rid of Chris Woodward, and then the next day he's gone too.
Oh yeah, but that's how that shit works. It's always the manager to go, and then
it seemed very quick. It seemed very quick. It seemed like the Rangers owners are just done. They're like, this is not what we signed up for. We spent $500 million, but at the same time, you knew that you spent $500 million on really 2 players, and then you didn't add pitching. Has Martin Perez been awesome? Yes. But has Martin Perez been struggling lately? Also, yes.
Spent some money on John Gray.
Who's been good? Not great.
And you built that baseball palace, which was so cool. Hosted the 2020 World Series. People forget.
Yeah, I want to go there. I've never been.
I want to go.
I want to go.
No, I mean, how could you go? It opened like during COVID, pretty much.
No, I know. I'm just saying I haven't been.
Yeah, I want to go too. But last thing on the Rangers, we talked about it with the Benintendi deal for the Royals. And I mentioned 3 good is better than 1 great for a team that needs numbers. Mm-hmm. So like the Royals need depth on the mound. Like they've got Brady Singer. After that, who are the starting pitchers there? Like maybe Lynch. Like you need numbers.
Who got blown up?
You hope that one of them works out. You know what I mean? So they got 3. They got Beckway, they got Sakema, and they got Champlain. So that's 3 guys that could turn out to be okay instead of 1 guy who you're hoping turns into a frontline guy, but could turn into a 5. I think the Rangers are building numbers right now. So with a sooner ETA, with a closer ETA, you're looking at Leiter, you're looking at Rocker, you're looking at Cole Winn with like a 2024-ish ETA.
I like that. I'm not saying I don't like that. I think we're hoping, when it's not like Leiter's taking the league by storm. That's all I'm saying. But yes, I like that.
Yeah, and another name, Cole Reagans. I forgot about Reagans. Guys that are a little bit farther off than that, like maybe 2024, Antoine Kelly, who they just acquired via trade, and Owen White.
Yep.
And then after that, you got Brock Porter, who you massively overslotted in the 4th round. Like, I think they are doing a good job adding for the sake of adding a bunch of guys and hoping that 5 of them pan out. You also paid Gray. John Gray is going to be a part of the rotation for the next 3 years, like it or not. They have obviously the financial opportunity to extend Perez if they want. He's not going to be an expensive extension. I think the Rangers they're not set up for success by any stretch. They need to do more drastic things to be set up for legitimate success. but they're set up to improve on whatever's been going on there the last 4 years.
Last thing on the Rangers, it's interesting hearing about the 2024 guys and a lot of these people when, you sign Corey Seager, who's not a young pup. You sign Marcus Semien, who, again, not a young pup. I'm worried that their windows might be not ending because you signed Corey Seager to a 10-year deal. You're not expecting him to just tail off in year 3. But in the year 4, year 5 of that contract, when you expect a Kumar, a Jack Leiter, a Cole Winn, a lot of these guys to be really good because they're not going to be really good right away. Yeah. So for them to mature a little bit in the major leagues, maybe that's 2025 that they are approaching what they should be. And then 2026, maybe 2027. Then at that point, where is the Corey Seager? Where is the Marcus Semien playing? So it's almost like, yes, they have pitching on the horizon, but their offense, at least right now, seems like it's more win now. At least the Stars do. Do they have other young players who I do like you were talking about, Josh Young? Like, yes, of course. Nate Lowe is still young. Nathaniel. Nathaniel. Still young, but the big money, the reason that you thought you were going to be really good this year will only be older when they're first approaching. That's why I feel like the Rangers window there, it's a little screwed up right now.
Yeah, it's a little screwed up. One team that isn't screwed up is Atlanta, and we're going to get to them in a moment. But first, the White Sox have not just won one game against the Houston Astros, they've won 2. So I get free merch on behalf of you. New long sleeve tee available at the Just Baseball, available at justbaseball.com. The shop is in our episode description. You already have the long sleeve tee, and now I get a free one. You don't have it?
Don't have it yet. I texted Kendall, getting myself a free one.
As hell.
You know what? Live on, I'm texting Kendall on air. Kendall.
It looks soft. It looks awesome.
It's sick. Arm has one. We got to talk to Arm. They look fire. He was wearing it. Hopefully Arm's doing well after surgery if you're listening to Arm, but he probably doesn't even listen.
No, he's fine. Yeah, he doesn't listen to us. He hates us. He just hops on. He doesn't listen back to the episodes he does because he knows that he craps gold. Like anything that he does is absolutely perfect. Just like how you said you're not perfect. Don't speak for Arm or myself.
It's fine. I'm more humble.
I'm a star boy. Unapologetically star boy. Me. All right, let's get back to Michael Harris. Again, sweet long sleeve shirt, justbaseball.com. Go to our shop, or you can get it in the episode description. The link is there. Michael Harris, 21 years old, youngest guy in Major League Baseball, 8-year, $72 million deal. I want to get this right. Runs through the 2030 season with incentives that can climb to 10 years, $102 million. He will make $5 million per year next year and in 2024, $8 million per year from 2025 to 2026, $9 million in 2027, $10 million in 2028 and 2029, and $12 million in 2030. So that's another AA pre-arb massive extension. What my favorite thing is guys talking about how this is so disrespectful to the players and everything like that. Like I saw somebody call this minimum wage for Michael Harris. 8 years, $72 million. I don't think you guys understand. Like the only one that could be seen as borderline disrespectful, and even then I don't think it's borderline disrespectful, was the 7 years, 35 for Albies. But
Albies is probably not a top 5 second. I mean, yeah, that I do get.
7 for 35. Right. Like Colton Wong is making more annually than Ozzie Albies.
All right. Yes, that was
so like when you compare, it's kind of disrespectful. But Acuna signed 8 years, $100 million. Acuna would still be pre-arb, if I'm not mistaken. He might be in his first year of arbitration. But he signed, so we don't pay attention to that anymore. We know he's a Brave for the next, 6-7 years. Acuna, still, Ronald Acuna Jr., one of the most exciting players in baseball, one of the best players in baseball since the 2019 season. Mm-hmm. He still has time for shit to go south, so he doesn't sign another $50 million deal. That's what people don't understand. There are so many Michael Harrises that put together a great rookie season. Gordon Beckham. Huge fan of Gordon Beckham. Think he does a great job on TV. Gordon Beckham had a great rookie season. That guy, if he got the Michael Harris deal, in hindsight, he would have signed it before it was printed. like what they are doing is instilling confidence in young guys to grow stress-free. They're not playing year by year. Because think about what would happen at Michael Harris if he didn't sign this contract. If this was not put in front of him, if Michael Harris was a rookie on any other team, next year he would make $700,000 and there ain't shit he can do about it.
Yep.
2024, he would make $700,000. There ain't shit he can do about it. Assuming he is still healthy and killing it like we expect him to. That 2025 season, he's going to come with a number that he thinks he's worth, but even then he'll be worth a lot more than the 7 he'll probably say he thinks he's worth. The Braves or the other team would probably lowball him at about 4.5, and an arbiter would find this middle ground at like 5.5 or 6 for him. Then you do it again the year after, that'll bump him up to about 10 to 15. Then you bump him up after that to something in the 20 range. And then he hits the open market. What this does for him, I gladly bypass 2 years of the open market for financial security and $72 fucking million to take care of my family. Oh my God, they do it right in Atlanta.
It's a win-win. Michael Harris played 71 games and made $72 million. Let me take you back to the 2018 Rookie of the Year race. That guy behind me, for all those watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on audio, that was Shohei Ohtani's Rookie of the Year. You know who finished second and third in that Rookie of the Year race? Miguel Andujar and Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres then went on to hit 38 home runs in the preceding year. Imagine if the Yankees just backed up the Brinks truck for him. Do I still like Gleyber? Yes. But imagine if they backed up the Brinks truck for a guy like Miguel Andujar, who looked like a doubles machine and the future third baseman for the New York Yankees. That's the reality of the situation. It's a gamble for the Braves. It's awesome for Michael Harris, but it still is a win for the Braves because $72 million to Michael Harris is phenomenal, but $72 million over 8 years for a guy like Michael Harris, you're willing to make that gamble because it still isn't that much. They're bypassing arbitration. Instead of $700,000 for the next 2 years, they're going to give him about $5 million. I don't know exactly. I knew you were going over exactly like how each year divides, but we'll just, to make it simple, $9 million a year.
It escalates from 8 to 10 pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's making that now. It's a win-win for both sides. We see the potential that Michael Harris has. Also, with a Michael Harris, not similarly to Miguel Andujar or Gleyber Torres, no matter what happens, we know that Michael Harris is going to be a phenomenal center fielder out there. That's what they know. They probably know that he's a bit of a safer option than the Yankees were looking at with Gleyber Torres. When they look at a guy who's an average defender at second base versus an elite defender at center field, an average to below average defender at third base in Miguel Andujar versus an elite center fielder in Michael Harris. That's why they were willing to make the gamble. So when they say, you know, why they do it, it makes a lot of sense for both sides. And if you're Michael Harris, you didn't just get your wallet stolen by Alex Anthopoulos. You played 71 games, and then out of it, you get $72 million. If you were presented $72 million when you know the security that can hold, it's you're signing the contract. I don't care who you are. You're signing the contract. You're a 21-year-old. You just locked into $72 million. You could be horrible for the rest of your career. It doesn't matter. I mean, $72 million. That is life-changing. That is generational changing money. Win-win for both sides.
2032, Harris has a club option for $20 million. Even if Harris's career goes to shit. Even if Harris's career goes to shit, Jason Hayward is making $24.5 million this year. Patrick Corbin's making $23.4. Bumgarner's making $23.
Shout out
Donaldson's making $23. Will Myers making $22.5. Exactly. And before 2032, he's got that club option for 15. Again, club option. Like, it is the Braves' choice if they want to pay him 15 in 2031 and 20 in 2032. And I bet they will, because he's really talented.
Yeah.
The money that they are on the hook for highest, AAV-wise, is $10 million. $10 million. Here's who's making more than $10 million. And I'm going to count up. I'm going to start at 10, and I'm going to move forward. Mike Minor's making 10. Wade Miley's making 10. Randall Grichuk is making 10.3. Carlos Santana's making 10.5. Tell me when to stop, because this is fun as hell for me.
Keep going.
Marquez is making 11.3. Avi Garcia's making 12. Anthony DeSclafani's making 12. I mean, Nelson Cruz is making 12 this year. Will Smith, who the Braves just traded, is making 13. Dude, Zach Britton's making 14. Erod, who can't even tell he's not there, is making 14.
Let's also put that amount of money into perspective for a second, because, you hear 14 million, it's like, oh, that's a lot of money. Of course it's a lot of money, but in baseball terms, what front offices, or at least from my knowledge, about one WAR, wins above replacement, is worth $8 million. Michael Harris is certainly going to be above one WAR for the foreseeable future. He could not hit anything, and he's going to go get that in the outfield. You look at Tommy Edmonds' stats. Tommy Edmonds seems to can't hit water if he fell off the boat, but he's going to be one of the highest WAR players because he just picks the ball like no other. Michael Harris is that type of player. So Michael Harris will always be giving you production. That's what they saw, and they signed to a great deal. But on the same side, it's great for Michael Harris too. You only played 71 games. You basically proved everything that you needed to make $72 million. It's, when you look at other contracts throughout baseball, it's a steal on both sides. But again, it's a steal for Michael Harris. Like, don't think that he just got his wallet stolen because he didn't.
Yeah. Now, the one knock on Michael Harris that probably knocks him down, and I wouldn't have extended this contract to Michael Harris in a million years. He's walking less than 4% of the time. I mean, I can't sleep well at night, no matter. I mean, I could have a Gold Glove center fielder that could hit 290 with 25 pumps and win the National League Rookie of the Year. But if he's not walking more than 4% of the time, I can't do this.
Give me Yasmani Grandal. I mean, he doesn't swing, but he's walking. Is he providing anything on the base pass?
Muncy before the surge. Give me May Max Muncy, because, he hit 130, but guess what? He's walking all the time, dude.
All the time. Actually, Max Muncy sometimes pisses me off, although he's been better.
He looks like a troll.
The amount of 0-1, 0-2 fastballs this guy takes down the dick.
Yes.
Not using the P word. Down the dick.
Come on, say it again. Say it again.
Down the penis is just absurd.
It's such a weird word.
I know. Watching the Dodger games and watching him just continually take fastballs that are right in his wheelhouse, Max Muncy. Right in your wheelhouse. Swing the bat. I don't care about your walk rate if you're the first percentile in sprint speed. I'm not even talking about Max Muncy. I'm more just projecting about Yasmani Grandal. Well, I've never just liked him that much as a player because, he gets on base, but he doesn't do anything on the base pass. And but that's another story. I'm still upset that we ranked him as the second best catcher because I didn't even want him in the top 5. I didn't want him.
Yes. Catcher or second baseman?
No, Yasmani Grandal at the beginning of the season when we ranked catchers.
Yeah.
I didn't want him. But I was coerced by the X stats. I was coerced, and I didn't like him.
Is that what happened?
I don't know.
His catching position blows, man.
I know.
I will gladly sleep soundly at night knowing that Yaz was our preseason second best. Oh God, if only I knew about Alejandro Kirk.
We got to be better.
We got to be better.
Got to be better.
Have to be better next time.
We're the Stephen A. Smith now. Just getting shit wrong.
Just morons. I'm a moron. You know what? I'm perfect. But I'm a moron.
No, you're not perfect.
I'm perfect.
No.
Morons can be perfect. That's how that works.
Stephen A. is so entertaining at what he does. Perfect.
One last thing from me. Dennis Eckersley said some funny ass shit last night on NESN about the Pirates. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. He took off. So Dennis Eckersley on NESN. He is obviously Hall of Famer, Dennis Eckersley. He announced that he was retiring after this year about a week ago. And he is in the business of going scorched earth before he leaves. Dennis Eckersley called the Pittsburgh Pirates lineup a hodgepodge of nothingness, which is so disrespectful. A lot of those guys are very talented athletes. A lot of those guys are very good dudes that have passed through Indianapolis this year that I have enjoyed. So disrespectful, but we have to acknowledge how funny the term hodgepodge of nothingness is. It quickly jumps to my second favorite term that I've ever heard in regards to a team or an organization. The only one that beats it is Jeff Van Gundy on an ESPN NBA telecast. Van Gundy was referencing the Detroit Pistons, and he said that they were stuck in a quagmire of mediocrity. And I thought that was the hottest thing I've ever heard. I was like, wow, they're too bad to be a playoff team. They're too good to have a top 5 pick. They are stuck in a quagmire of mediocrity. Now, I don't agree with it about the Pirates offense. Do I understand that the Pirates offense is struggling mightily, mightily, mightily? Yes. Do I understand that they might not have the sex appeal of the big name? Yes, I do. Do I understand that O'Neal Cruz is hitting about 110 on breaking pitches? Yes, I do. I understand that. Hodgepodge of nothingness is hilarious. Now,
you know who's a hodgepodge of nothingness right now on offense? I'm writing my bets every day, and I'm trying to find, offenses that aren't performing very well.
Yeah.
And every single way I queue up the splits leaderboards on Fangraphs, the Detroit Tigers are in last. Every single way.
Are they a hodgepodge of nothingness?
Lefties, righties, doesn't matter. Away, home, against high velocity, against low velo, doesn't matter. They cannot hit water if it fell off a boat. So, Pirates fans, you're probably hearing hodgepodge of nothingness and thinking to yourself, are we the worst offense? Hard to say that you are, because when I cue it, it's all Tigers. So at least you have that going for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of pro print the shirts, hodgepodge of nothingness.
I like that one. I think to your point, quagmire of mediocrity sounds more elegant, but hodgepodge of nothingness is like a punch in the throat.
That sounds pretty elegant, man. Here's what Brian Reynolds had to say about it. They were all talking to Jason Mackey at the Post Gazette. He said, I couldn't give any less of a crap what the guy has to say. I appreciate him saying crap and not shit. There we go. But here is my favorite one. This is Will Crow on what Eckersley had to say. What he said was kind of crappy and kind of shitty. Notice that it was both crappy and shitty.
They're
and
different.
Crap and shit are both synonyms for fecal matter.
Yes. But so they do mean something else. Crappy is more like sad, shitty is more mad, I think.
Okay. So what he said was kind of sad and kind of mad. I read it as what he said was kind of poop and kind of poop. I think a lot of guys are going to take it and let it fuel us and see what happens. I know we haven't climbed that hill completely, but we're on our fucking way. Fair from Crow.
He said on our fucking way.
Oh, yeah. He said shitty and fucking in the same 2-sentence spurt. Love it. Fire me up, Will Crow.
Imagine, Dennis Eckersley is one of the greatest closers of all time. He's calling your games, and you hear from, after maybe you went 0 for 4 in a game, that greatest closer called your lineup a hodgepodge of nothingness. Yeah, I'm going to use all the curse words I have.
It's not like the team that he calls games for is rearing its head right now either. I mean, he's a broadcaster for Nesson. He's on the Red Sox, who are a game under 500 right now. The gold bottles.
That's the thing, too. I feel like Dennis Eckersley, if he should talk about his own team, the Oakland A's, who, if we're talking about the Yankees and the Blue Jays who can't win a game, they cannot actually win games. And this has been an extended stretch of hodgepodge of nothingness.
Dude, don't come at me about Christian Pache. I love that Andrews just gets released. That was best case scenario for Elvis Andrews.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, I'm not playing enough. Release me. Okay.
He probably asked.
He did. He asked. He said he didn't ask to be released. He said, can I play more? And they said no. So he was like, all right, release me now. And he might be the everyday shortstop for the White Sox for the next 6 weeks.
I'd rather be a bench bat for basically anywhere else than playing in front of 80 people in the Coliseum where the chairs are falling apart. It just looks like a Hunger Games stadium.
Yeah, but they're running out Cal Stevenson, V-Mile Machine, Jonah Bride, Skybolt, which is a sick name. Name. Absolutely sick name. Nick Allen, that's just a generic white guy name.
Yeah.
You could introduce me to anybody on the street in Indianapolis, Indiana, and say, hey, his name is Nick Allen.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are just MLB The Show characters that when you skip past the name portion, you said, just give me whatever you got. But then you pick, you're like, I want Skybolt. But then you were like, all right, I'm just going to auto do the rest of the team.
Right. Jonah Bride.
Nick Allen.
That's so bad. Anything else we got to hit on?
Joey Votto is unfortunately out for the season, rotator cuff injury. I mean, this guy, we talk about launch angle. One of the highest launch angles of his career last year at 18.4 degrees. Now he's down to 11 this year. Was not putting the ball in the air. Was not putting up same competitive at-bats that he did last year. Kind of looked hurt the entire year. Only put up 11 home runs for the Reds in Great American Ballpark. And if you're not hitting at Great American Ballpark, there's a bigger issue here. Because if you look at Savant Park Factor, Great American Ballpark is basically the same as Coors Field. I mean, it's not quite the same over, a longer stretch, maybe since 2019. But this year, it has really been a launching board of offense. You even look at a guy like Brandon Drury. I mean, guys have been hitting there, and he has not. He just really had a tough season, and now he's 38 years old, Jack. 38 years old. I remember I made that joke, I think it was like 2 months ago, maybe now, where I said, should he retire on the spot with how bad the Reds are? Because he was 300, 400, 500. And he might be below 300 for his career. I just don't know how much longer we're going to get to enjoy Joey Votto, one of the greatest hitters of our generation.
Right. So he's not 300, 400, 500 anymore. I think he's a career 270 or 297 hitter now.
Yeah, 298 or 297, I think.
297, OBP 412, slugging 513. So a career 926 OPS. Joey Votto has an MVP. He's got a Gold Glove. He's a 6-time All-Star. But I kept on scrolling on Baseball Reference to his Hall of Fame numbers. And I looked at compared to first baseman. Joey Votto has 64.5 career WAR. The average career WAR of the 12 first basemen in the Hall right now, 65.5. So he's 1 win behind them. 7-year peak WAR, 46.9 for Votto. The average 7-year peak WAR for the other first baseman in the Hall, 42.1. So he's better than that. The Jaws score is very interesting. It takes into account 7-year peak WAR and a bunch of other things to judge pretty much like Hall of Fame legitimacy on Baseball Reference. Joey Votto has a Jaws score about 2 points higher than the average Hall of Fame first baseman. And WAR per 162, Joey Votto is a 5.2 B WAR guy over 162. The average Hall of Fame first baseman is 4.9 over 162. So Joey Votto's numbers already are on par with Hall of Fame induction. And you take into account what Joey Votto has been to the Cincinnati Reds. Like, I think he might be a shoe-in for the Hall. I don't think he's a first ballot guy, but I think he is a 4th or 5th year Votto's getting in.
I think you'd think so. And I would probably say that you're right, but he has 2,093 career hits. He has 342 career home runs. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I mean, he's a 6-time All-Star. He only has 1 Gold Glove, so he doesn't have the defense to back it. I don't know. I think he's going to be fringe. I do. Because I don't think he's going to hit 400 home runs in his career. I don't think he gets to 2,500 hits. And, I'm not saying that, me personally, I don't think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because he hasn't reached these numbers. I just know that these specific numbers are very important to Hall of Fame voters. And he didn't get there. Fred McGriff hit 493 home runs and is not a Hall of Famer. I mean, that's just criminal. But these things happen in Hall of Fame voting. Like, when he's not even at 2,500 hits, he's not even at 400 home runs. He could be one of those Hall of Very Good guys. It's tough. I'm not saying he will. I look at other Hall of Fame resumes and the WAR is there, and WAR is very important, but that's really the only aspect that says you're a Hall of Famer. Right?
Yeah, but WAR, I feel like, I don't know.
Might be the most important.
You also got to factor in what Joey Votto has been at the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
What Joey Votto's been for the Cincinnati Reds since 2007 is the leader.
Yeah, but there have been a lot of leaders. He's got no chips. He's got no huge playoff experience.
Yeah, but it's hard to win a chip with the Cincinnati Reds.
And I'm not saying if you don't win a chip that you don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Baseball's
no. You just said Allen Iverson is not one of the greatest point guards of all time because he never won a ring. You just said Carmelo Anthony's basketball career can eat shit. It means nothing.
Basketball is much different. And yes, I can. They have both of them eat shit, except Melo, greatest small forward of all time.
AI is
no. AI went up against the 2000-2001 Lakers team that was an absolute juggernaut and even won a game.
Yeah.
Right? He won a game.
No, that was LeBron with Delly and Tristan Thompson flanking him.
Yeah, let's talk about other sports. Baseball sucks because Joey Votto is probably not going to be a Hall of Famer, and he should be a Hall of Famer.
We could just end the Zoom too. That's another option.
Anything else before we go? Didn't we say we had one more thing?
I don't know. We could also hit it tomorrow. I think Ara might join us from his bedside.
I'm very excited for that. Oh yeah, the Verlander Cease game we already talked about. Yeah, I mean, just go get your Just Baseball merch. Use code Just Baseball on Prize Picks if you want to play some daily fantasy with us. I got a couple entries today. I got a couple entries every single day. Go check out. Arm is breaking down a bunch of prospects on the call up. Jack joins very frequently as well on my podcast, Not Gambling Advice, my daily MLB Best Bets, as we break into football. We're not going to be talking about on the Just Baseball show, of course, but on Not Gambling Advice, I will be talking some football. Also just started back up our Just Gridiron Fans TikTok account. So if you are a football fan and want to hear us talk more about football, you're going to find that on Not Gambling Advice, and you're going to find that on that TikTok account, as well as on my Twitter. And I think you're going to start talking about some college football. What do you say?
We'll see, man. Will Anderson Jr., linebacker for Alabama, best player in America, and it's not anywhere close. Ball State opens the football season at Tennessee on September 1. Can't wait to patrol the sidelines at Neyland Stadium, seeing Hendon Hooker. I will probably mention it in passing on the Just Baseball show. Might hop on the occasional tiki-taki. We'll see what happens.
And with that, thank you, everybody.